I went for a drive today without a destination in mind. And I want to talk to this today a little bit in a different way, which may sound a little crazy. I don't often talk about non-dual experiences or being in your true nature, what that feels like, because I don't have the words to describe this. This feels really clumsy. It doesn't really seem to fit into words, right? But I feel like there's a few of you who really need to hear this, right? So perhaps you're a bit similar to me, like I do enjoy certain places. I have been there before and I like that. And let's pick a simple example like a coffee shop, right? There's one coffee shop that I absolutely love. The coffee is really nice. They do a beautiful hazelnut coffee, a hazelnut cake, right, to go with it. And to get there, I get to a T intersection, right? So I have to go right. And I go right. And every time I went there for the last few months, I was wondering, what is left? Where does that road go to? And there was a curiosity there. And I wanted to go, but I didn't. I kept going right to my favorite spot. And this is very common, especially if we had PTSD like I used to have, right? That predictability, that familiarity, that can give us a false sense of safety. Our nervous system feels a little bit more regulated, we feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more confident, a little bit more whatever, right? Can you relate? We like that. We like that and we seek that. And while this is beautiful, and going through the healing phases and reclaiming your life, right? If you've really gone through a PTSD crisis, things go really chaotic and crazy for a while. So that there is a purpose there, right? It will serve you, but eventually you get to a point where doing that, even knowing you might really enjoy that, you might be very appreciative and grateful for those experiences because they're so much better than what you used to have, right? You compare all this kind of thing, but there is a cap to it. There is a certain limitation to it. You feel that because it lacks the spontaneity. I can't even say the word. See, this is something that was not existing in my life. The curiosity is a little bit. It can initiate that to do something on a spontaneous, unplanned, just going with the flow, right? So today, when I got to that same T section, I was about to turn right again, and I said, no, let's do it. Right? Can we just go and not know where this road is going to go? Not looking at a map. I don't have a physical map, but not even going to Google or anything like that. Right? Just going. Can I just drive and enjoy the scenery and just being there? And you'll notice, even driving like this, your mind might kick in rather quickly, even knowing this is the most stunning scenery. It was the most beautiful drive. It was this rolling hills and the clouds and the cows and horses in the distance and things like that. There was many moments where I was just moved to tears. It was just so beautiful that even then your mind might come back in and say, oh, this is too much. This is right. Even just being in that moment and just driving and just taking in what is there, right? There is a collapse, for lack of a better word, right? There's something that happens in that experience. Like I was saying, that the rolling hills are no longer kind of at a distance. Out there, it's collapsing. It becomes. Yeah, I see. That's why I don't usually talk so much about those experiences, because I cannot put that into words, and it doesn't matter. I don't actually want you to to get my version of it. I want you to have that experience. This is an invitation for you to disrupt what you're doing on a regular basis and just be spontaneous, and notice when that urge comes up to check something out or do something different, to actually follow that and being in the moment, like really catching what your mind is doing. For me, it was like there was moments where it was saying like, oh, this is too much, like this is too overwhelming, or at times it wanted to pull over to actually take photos to share with you, or it was even going on about what I am going to share with you guys about this experience, right? And to catch that, because when we're doing that, we are back in the mind. We're actually no longer in that moment experiencing those rolling hills and the clouds and the beauty and the smell, right? I like to have my windows down to actually feel the breeze and smell nature and all that. So it is a very rich experience, sensory, right? That input. So our mind pulls us out of this experience. Can you see how it does that? By wanting to pull over to take a picture, to capture it, right? I want to, so I can recreate this later again, right? In my mind when I look at this photo, like to just trust that this is not necessary, right? To just fully enjoy in this experience without needing to document it, and it's okay. Your mind will come up with your flavor of stuff, right? For me, it is often that this is too overwhelming, because all the senses, like the seeing, the hearing, the touch from the wind, the smelling, it's really everything, right? It is so, there's so much there that I even used to diagnose that in the past. I have been diagnosed with being oversensitive, to those kind of things. But is it really? Is it really oversensitive, hypersensitive? Does it have to be any of this? Or can we just cut out all this chatter and all this labeling and just come back to just being and absorbing that whole experience? It's like the experience becomes you. It's like there's no longer a you and a scenery out there. It's just all. It's a beautiful experience, and it's the mind that tries to kind of twist it and distort it and make it into something that it is not, right? To catch that. For I don't know what your mind is saying. Maybe leave some comments down below what your mind's favorite messages are, and you do pull you out of that experience, right? For some of you, it might be more along the lines that you're not worthy of having such good experiences just yet. You haven't done enough healing work, right? Or you have done something today that you shouldn't have, or you haven't stuck to your routines or practices and things. Like, it's everyone has their own little flavor depending on where you're at. But this is your mind trying to pull you out of this experience, of that richness, of this very moment, right? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Okay.